are we talking about this week?
Okay, questions we've had.
Okay,
why can't we eat nuts? Nuts are good for you.
nuts are very good for you.
So why can't we eat them if we're on the weight loss program? On the reduction phase.
So, here's the thing. Nuts, except for peanuts. Peanuts are not nuts. They're legumes. They're inflammatory. I know you like them. They don't like you. So,
why are they called a peanut? Who decided that? That was a bad idea. That's confusing.
Why is it called healthcare when literally all we do is throw medications at it? It should be called sick care. We call it healthcare.
True.
Same start, but just insanity. So nuts are very good for you. You should eat them when you get to your goal weight. Now, if you go through our program and look at the things, very seldom does it talk about calories. Okay, in the app, we had to put calories in there because to get the dang thing FDA approved, you have to put their malarkey in there, their calorie model. So it is in the app. But if you look into the stuff that we've done, we don't worry about calories.
Right.
But here's the reality: we are trying to reduce your caloric load to burn fat, right? So we don't want to eat these high caloric, high fat foods during the reduction phase, whether they're good for you or not. So
that way you can burn your own fat.
Right.
Burn your own fat, not the nuts.
You're paying us to burn fat off of you. So the more fat you put into the system, whether it's good for you or not, it's going to make that a little harder. Okay. So
do you know how many grams of fat
it's a ton.
are in a handful of almonds?
But here's the thing.
20.
If you get to that point where you're in dire straits, where it's like, well, I went to go visit my girlfriend in Butte. This is one from this morning. Larry, you're a stud. And there's nothing else to eat.
Right, it's a better option.
Cheating with nuts is certainly a better option than
McDonald's
or M&M's or whatever
the gas station has.
We should call it. I saw someone, I think it was Dr. Tina. She called it Satan, McSatan. You can call it McDonald's, call it McSatan. I like that. So when you get to that goal weight, you should start eating nuts. But nuts are definitely those things that you need to read the ingredient list on. We have found the best with just raw organics.
Right.
Otherwise, all the blue diamond and emeralds and all that other crap is fried in vegetable oil and will just eventually put you right back in the same position.
It's roasted.
Oh, roasted. Excuse me. Roasted.
In vegetable oil.
So
you always have to read your label on this because they can trick you. I
think you mentioned avocados too, and it's the same exact.
Right, well, because everybody's like, avocados are superfood. Everything you read is
100%.
Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? No, it's a superfood.
We just had avocados.
Right.
We're not in the reduction phase.
Right.
So the exception here being like the Primal Kitchen products that we recommend. Those do have some avocado oil in them, so when you see that, don't freak out. But,
avocado oil and eating an avocado aren't the same thing.
Right.
But I think a lot of people confuse that. Like they just see the word avocado and they panic.
Use their products, but avoid eating just avocados as part of your 4-4-4.
Okay. Technically, because what is it?
It's a fruit.
It is.
What was that thing I just threw in the river? The pit.
We don't talk about throwing things in the river.
There's a river behind my office. I launched the pit into it to see if it would float. Turns out avocado pits sink.
Now you know. Okay.
Mitch is back there going, what the hell is going on right now?
Now you can't decide the whole thing. Okay, here we go. The drops reduce appetite.
Yes.
How so?
It's all about tempering insulin surges.
Okay.
A standard American diet with all its loveliness, its sugar, inflammatory oils, and all the other crap that goes along with it. It's going to basically take your insulin levels and spike them really fast and drop them really low, spike them really fast, spike them really... In turn, that's going to screw with ghrelin and I can't remember the name of them on top of my head, but your hunger hormones. It's going to mess with your hunger hormones. It's going to keep you hungry.
Okay.
But once those drops kick in, then
insulin levels,
instead of looking like jagged peaks and valleys, they start looking more like rolling hills. And I tell people all the time, when this is working, you're going to know it because you're going to lose your appetite. Your sugar cravings are going to go away. And that's why it's because those insulin surges are much, much reduced.
Right. Perfect. Do you think the diet as well, though, reduces sugar cravings?
Sure,
because everybody's loading with protein at every meal?
Right. It does. But the drops are the cheat code.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot less suffering with the drops getting to that point with protein versus going at it alone. Plus,
it would take you weeks to regulate, or months to regulate what the drops can do in a few days.
And the other bonus to that is the starvation part of it. Starvation states usually mean that your body's burning protein as a quick source rather than fat, and we definitely do not want to do that. We want to burn fat, so the drops actually help you burn fat instead of protein.
Perfect.
So
they keep you safe.
That's why you don't feel hungry. So if you get to that second meal...
Yeah, okay, so I had a lunch, I had my 4 ounces of steak, I had my broccoli, I had some berries. Dinner rolls around, not really feeling hungry. Do I have to
No, absolutely not.
make myself eat the 4-4-4?
Nope. If you're not hungry, just skip it.
Okay.
Don't make a habit of that. Like, we don't... your body does need fuel to survive and fuel to fight off infection and fuel to sleep. But if there's a day or two here or there that you just don't feel like eating, remember last year at the fair?
Right.
So I did this program about a year ago, and the East Idaho State Fair is a inflammatory nightmare when it comes to food.
I think any fair is.
We took the kids, and I just remember walking around going, I don't feel like eating a thing.
Right.
So when you get to that point, take it to the bank. That's awesome. Let's burn some more of that fat off of you. When we get to the maintenance phase, you don't want to do that. But for right now,
it's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, if they're only going to eat one thing, like say they had their good lunch, they ate all components. Now it's dinner time. They're just a little bit hungry.
Protein.
Protein, right? Protein's
100%.
always the go-to. Would you say in order protein, vegetable, fruit? You don't just want to eat a fruit.
Protein.
Protein. No, I mean like if you wanted a little more, you could have
I know what you're saying.
protein vegetable. Would be better than...
Yeah, protein vegetable would be better. I think protein fruit would help a little more for those folks that are so used to having something sugary after. So protein fruit might be the way to go. I don't think that's a question we can generalize. I think that's more up to the individual. So if that's you, please let us know.
But definitely protein.
Decisions. Yes, protein, 100%. And even if you want to have some fruit, you always want to have protein with your fruit to keep your blood sugar spikes from going nuts.
Right. So what about people that want to eat fruit before they go to bed?
Protein.
Like I have several people that want to save their fruit, right? They're not going to eat the fruit at dinner. They're going to save it so they can eat it a few hours later for dessert. So then they're eating fruit by itself.
Yeah, I don't like that. If you have to do it to sleep, fine, whatever, do it. Make sure you have a little, even if it's a little cube of chicken or something, just some protein first. But the problem with that, and this is a whole other topic that we could really dive into, is I want you to eat in an 8-hour eating window. So I want you to eat everything you can, and all of your food in that 8 hours, so that your body is literally fasting 16 hours a day. That's where we start talking about autophagy and your cells cleaning themselves out, anti-aging, all that stuff. You can't do that if you eat at lunch at noon, dinner at 6, and right before bed, 10:30. Here's your 4 ounces of raspberries. That's where I don't like it.
Okay.
So if you want to save your fruit and have it an hour after dinner, cool. Make sure dinner's at 6, so you can be done by 7.
Right.
So.
Okay, that makes sense. And basically, it's going to spike your blood sugar.
Right.
Like eating fruit by itself, no matter when it is. So you don't want to spike your blood sugar and then go to bed.
Yep.
Right?
Correct.
What does that look like for sleep?
So your adrenal glands are these little glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and they work in concert with your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland up here in your brain, to regulate your circadian rhythm. Okay, so as blood sugar drops, your body will kick in cortisol to release glycogen from your muscles to bring cortisol to bring your blood sugar back up and so forth. So basically what you're going to do is if you eat a bunch of sugar right before bed, you're going to spike cortisol levels so you can digest it, and it's going to disrupt sleep.
Right. And cortisol is your stress hormone.
Yeah.
So, let's dump stress hormone, and so then we can try to go to bed.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
As a general rule.
Right.
Like we definitely want to talk with individuals.
Right.
But as a general rule,
but as a guideline, not a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And if you're loading with protein and you're following the program, taking your drops, your sugar cravings, unless you feed them, right? That's the key, right? We're going to feed our cravings. The cravings are going to stay.
Right.
But if we actually don't give in.
Right. There's room to be human, right?
Right.
But not a ton of room. So
you can't be human until you're in the maintenance.
If you have a weakness, cool, whatever, just tell us. We'll laugh at you. I mean, with you.
But you could eat other things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, crunch on some cucumbers instead of your chips, or
Right.
you can get around. And I think too, the key to remember is it might not be your favorite food. Like, it might not taste like Oreos.
Well, your favorite
That's
food
okay.
got you to where you are now.
Right.
And your favorite food really doesn't taste that good. It's just really screwing with your brain chemistry to make you think you taste that good.
That you taste good.
You know what I mean?
Right. But I'm just simply saying sometimes it has to be like mind over matter at first, of just recognizing
100%.
like, okay, I Oreos do taste better to me, or birthday cake does taste better to me. But wow, I talked to a guy last week who said fruit has never, it's the guy at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Like, he'd
Bruce.
never been able to eat fruit before, like peaches or watermelon, because his blood sugar was out of control. Now that his blood sugar is in control, he can eat those types of fruits.
Right.
And he's like, that's the best dessert. I don't even need dessert. Like, having a peach has never tasted so good. So like, once you get rid of some of the bad food, like real good food tastes fantastic.
That's the metabolic flexibility part of this. And by the way, Bruce had lost, what, did he say, 30?
25 or 30 pounds. I think
Something
30.
like that. Something like that. Looked fabulous.
Yeah.
He'll be in here this week. We're going to do a video with Bruce because he's got a lot of good things to say.
The coolest part was, though, like, his blood sugar is controlled for the first time.
Yeah.
So even more exciting than pounds.
I remember him talking about that the first time he was here, him saying, I want to be able to have a piece of fruit without it just completely wrecking me.
Right.
And we've done that. Mission accomplished.
Right. That's cool.